we've only been on Golf Channel for like a year or whatever. So someone can find us and be like, "Well, you bet you haven't been together in 15 years. That's 16 years. That's crazy." And so
It's 18.
I was looking for in all my files and my archives, I was like, I've got to have proof. There's got to be something somewhere in all my stuff that I have that's got proof that we've been doing this forever. And the oldest thing I could find, which I will share with you now, was from our trip to Bermuda in 2011 for the PGA Grand Slam of Golf, which is an event that doesn't even happen anymore.
True.
And I have a couple pictures. Okay. First of all, this is from a long time ago. Okay. So you have to understand that these photos are low quality. All right. I'm purposely putting up a bad picture for you to look at. These photos were taken on a physical, like, walk around with, 10 megapixel digital camera. That was from our hotel. This is an event where the four major champions would come to Port Royal in Bermuda and just play. And Rory was there. Wow. And this is 2011. And this is video I shot on that digital crappy camera I'm talking about. Look how different Rory looks. First of all, look at all his hair. That is a lot of hair, man. And he is jacked now. Not jacked in that picture.
Yeah, but he's not heavy in that picture because he went from chubby Rory to lean Rory to now, as you say, jacked Rory. But that was when he was in his skinny phase. That's Julius Mason from the PGA on the left.
So there was Rory, Darren Clarke, Charl Schwartzel. I think Keegan Bradley was there. And Darren Clarke was the reigning Open champion at that time. And in the evening, these are some cool pictures I found. In the evening, we had our whatever function with the dinner. And Darren brought the claret jug and just left it on a table, unattended. And Matt and I were like, let's go take a picture of that. So
yeah, I guess it's important to point out.
No one stopped us. We just walked over there and grabbed the claret jug.
Those are two separate photos. Those are not us standing next to each other with two claret jugs. That's the same claret jug. Yeah, I remember that if you remember what happened, he left it on a table and went to get a drink. And you and I were the first two that were like, dude, that's a claret jug. Let's go take a picture with it. And by the time that we put the claret jug down, there was a huge crowd of people coming over there. And the PGA officials came running over, realizing what was happening. I think they were afraid they were about to lose the claret jug. They actually formed a line, and people started taking pictures with the claret jug more formally. A lot of hair on you in that picture, Don.
I was just going to say, what happened to me? Where did it all go? It's literally, it's gone, man. It is all gone. Andrew, go back to that picture. That is a lot of hair. In comparison to what I have now, that is a lot of hair.
Wait a minute. Don't be challenging Andrew. He'll do a side by side.
I'm getting to my point. Andrew, show me the photos of the porta potties. All right. I ask you folks, what are we looking at here? Perhaps a shed? Perhaps the back of a building? Perhaps the porta potties?
Back
no. No, I say, you are looking at the entrance to where we broadcast this show in 2011. I took a video of it. I couldn't believe I found this video. So this is the back of, I don't know, the clubhouse, I guess. And there are the
no, it's a
porta
maintenance
potties.
shed. The clubhouse was to the left.
This is where we broadcast our show. Here we go. There's the entrance. Very safe. No chemicals. All closed containers. Very, very solid. Terrible, terrible video. Look at this. That is where we broadcast. Look at that, Matt. It's like, it's exciting / embarrassing / incredible, sort of. And then there's our.
Did you actually see what our setup looked like back in those days with all the wires? Yeah. Some guys looking into that screen that looks like a cage and saying, there's no way they're broadcasting from in there.
You say, there's no way Rory went in there. Oh, yes way. There's Rory right there. There's Rory right there. And he did it not once, but twice. Andrew, go to the next one. He did it twice, Matt. He came in the next day and did it. Remember?
Yeah.
2 days in a row, I walked him back there.
To my left, where we're sitting, if you go back to that first shot, To my
There's Darren
left,
Clarke
there
with a
was one
Guinness.
of those. And he brought a pint of Guinness, and I was like, "What? You only brought one?" And they gave me one too at the same time, which was awesome. But to the left of where I was sitting, there it is. There actually was one of those trays that you plug in and it heats up. You know, if you're going to heat up soup or something, and on it was a tin of baked beans that with a spoon stuck in it that had been there for so long that the beans had turned to stone. But the room that we were in there was like open buckets of paint thinner and all kinds of chemicals.
It was terrible. Look at this picture. Andrew, put that up.
So progressively,
Look at that. See? We've been doing this for a long time, Matt. Look at all that hair. Look at my shorts. What am I doing?
So progressively, the shows that we did, it seemed like we were inhaling a lot of chemicals. Let me put it that way. So when we
Hold on a
first
second,
went,
Matt. Hold on a second. Andrew, play that video. I had to walk Rory McIlroy into this space.
remember we had to step around the buckets with all the open.
It was me, a PGA of America official, and Rory. I remember it because
Didn't
obviously
you say
I'm
he
young,
looked
right?
at
I'm
you
still
like,
pretty young.
no, I can't. I'm not.
So
am I really
we were walking past the porta potties with the PGA of America official, and the PGA America official at that point left. They were like, "All right, I'm got to go do my next thing." So I'm standing right in that photo. I am standing to the left of those porta potties, just me and Rory in 2011, and I'm like, "Rory, right through here," and he's just like, "What?" Where are you taking me? What is happening? I'm like, no, it's a very important interview. He's just like, I don't think we're allowed in here. I'm like, no, it's all set up. It's it's great. And he's just like, he couldn't have been more tentative. And to Rory's credit, major champion, the whole deal, he was like, all right, let's see what's in this room.
I remember the first day we were broadcasting, our first guest was actually Darren Clarke. And they were playing, and a rain shower had come through, and he had shot a 77. I remember the score. And I thought to myself, Darren is going to be, he's just going to be mad, right? Reigning Open champion, Royal St. George's. And I thought, there's no way they're going to say, hey, can you do this interview afterwards? And he's going to be like, no. And I'm doing my thing, talking into that microphone, the picture that you saw, and I've got this little tiny like prison window in front of me, and I'm doing the broadcast, and I happen to glance over my right shoulder, and there's Darren Clarke in the same shirt that he's wearing there, but the side of it you can't see. The whole right side of him, which is framed off this picture, was completely soaked from just the way that the rain and the wind hit him. He was totally wet. So I turned behind me, and he was standing behind me with his hands on his hips, and I was like, uh-oh. What's the mood going to be? And he sat down, they handed him that Guinness, and he was happy as can be. It was a classic event. It was 1 year we
so there's
at
your
that
proof,
event.
man.
Yeah, that is classic.
From years ago. It's like 13 years ago that it took place. I can't
One
believe I
year
had
we
video
had-
of that shed.
I know, that's classic. 1 year we had 2 Category 5 hurricanes bearing down on us in the same time, and we pretty much got evacuated from that one. It was a great event because
We also
the
had
players.
an earthquake in Washington, D.C. Remember that?
Yes, yeah, I do remember that. We were about
did a
to
show
record an
through an
interview.
earthquake.
Well, who was it? Christina Kim. We were about to record an interview with Christina Kim, and Dom came on and screamed in the headset, "We're having an earthquake!" And he kind of like disappeared. And somehow, Christina Kim and myself, because I was at a different studio at that time. I was still running golf courses. I was at Newport National, and I was on Greengrass side, and somehow Christina Kim and I were still connected. She was at home in Orlando, and she was like, hello. And I said, Christina. And she said, what's going on? I said, I don't know. Dom just said they're having an earthquake. And we both kind of chuckled like that because we're both like, Dom's crazy. They're based out of Washington,
hold on,
D.C.
Matt, come
XM's
back,
in Washington.
Andrew, come back to me. What happened was, at that time, right, Washington, D.C., we had an enclosed soundproof studio. And there's a huge wall of glass behind me going into the hall. So I'm like this. I've got my board and all my stuff, and nothing's in front of me. And I'm talking to Matt, and I'm here. But there's a window in front of me into the studio, and there's a reflection on that window of what's behind me, which is an open window in the hall. And I see two people run in a full sprint, like they're in the Olympics, past the window. And then I see a piece of the ceiling fly, like come down through the window behind me. But I can't hear anything because it's soundproof. So I turn around and someone is they're sprinting and screaming, but I can't hear them screaming. And I'm like, what is happening? And I turn around, I go, hold on, Matt. I turn around, I open the door to the studio, which is soundproof, so it's a big, thick door. I open it, and I hear it was a young lady, like an intern age lady. She was running full speed towards me, going, "Earthquake!" I was like, what is happening? And this is in Washington, D.C., which is not exactly the earthquake capital of the world.
No, that's
That
why it
was
was so unbelievable.
horrifying.
It ended up cracking the
was
Washington
crazy.
Monument, if you remember. Yeah, that is what happened. All right, so that's just to give you a glimpse of how some of this takes place.